has been a hot minute since I did a video Jeep update, and as you can see here, this is the 35 that was on there originally. It's the BFG KM3, the mud terrains that they just released, I think, 2 years ago. And then right next to it, and this is a 35-inch, and then this is a 37-inch Patagonia Milestar MT that I just got in. Naturally, FedEx only delivered 2 out of the 5, so that was fun. But just some notable things. BFG is usually known for making tires that are a little bit shorter in diameter than what they're listed as. So if it's a 35, you might get a 33 3/4 or 34.5 or something in that kind of range for the height of the tire. However, the one thing that they do keep a pretty good number in is the width of the tire here. So this dimension, these are 12.50 or 12.5 inches, and these are 13.5 inches. And you can see that there is a little bit of a height difference by this tire, and it's mostly just the bulge of the upper edge. But otherwise, those tires are almost exactly the same height. And you can see by that flat aluminum bar that I put on there just for comparison, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And I just tried these. I normally try and stick to American made, and I love that. However, the BF Goodwrench, when I went to 37's, is going to cost me $2,500 versus like $1,100. So kind of a no-brainer. I could buy 2 sets of 37's in the Milestars before I have to get the BFGs. Now, these are great tires. However, their wear rate was actually a lot faster than I expected. You can see these little wear bars show through here. These are normally a groove in the tire. This is the most worn tire, so it was on the rear. I only had them just rotate or mount one, so you can actually see it on there, and it is a monster of a tire. But the old BFs, you can see that little wear bar there is supposed to be showing through. These have lost almost half of their tread depth in about 30,000 miles, or maybe just shy of, right around there. Once they get that low, it's not bad. It's just better to start looking for tires at that point. And since I was already looking at getting 37's and I needed to get them balanced anyway, I figured to just pull the trigger, and then I'm actually going to give the 35's, since they've got enough tread on them to still be good tires, to my wife, and she's going to put them on her Gladiator. So that'll be the next big fun thing. But just a couple things about these 37's. As most folks know, I'm going to be doing the ball joints, and these little magical brackets right here, if you're not familiar with them, there's one missing. There it is. These are the upper and lower C-Gussets. So what these are is a reinforcement that you weld on your front axle, because the weight of those new tires and their ability to help bend your axle into a smiley face. So it'll basically take and tilt these tires inward. If you don't weld these little brackets up and in, so this will go up and hug around where that upper ball joint is. And then this little lower one does the same. In reverse, it's easier to just show you the little guy. So these little guys get welded on, but you have to heat up the axle tube to about 400 degrees because it's a cast steel and not able to be just welded at room temperature. So in order to do that, you're going to roach out your ball joints, which I also needed to replace. So I figured if I'm going to be putting C-Gussets in and doing ball joints, I might as well do it at the same time that I go to 37's. So I got the 37's a little bit earlier than I've welded these on, but in the next 2 or 3 days, I'll be welding on the C-Gussets. I'll be doing inner axle seals, and I'll probably do a re-gear. Right now, I'm running 373's, which where I live is at sea level, and also 0 elevation for about 200 miles around me. So a lot of people will have to re-gear much quicker than I will because they have hills where they live. However, those hills hinder them in 2 different ways. Not only do you have to drive up elevation, which can cause the engine to bog down, or the inability for power to move the vehicle, but you also lose about 7 to 10 horsepower per 1,000 feet of elevation. So if you're up in the mountains in Colorado, your engine's already a dog because you're way higher than sea level. I'm right at sea level. I've never even had a problem with 373s or 35s. It's actually perfect for what I do for highway driving. I've never had it be a dog, and everywhere I wheel, which is sand almost exclusively, it's worked fine. So that's the latest update to the Jeep. Those are the things going on. The one thing I'm still disappointed about, this deformation in this rim here was actually from the factory when I got them mounted and balanced with those tires on them. I immediately took a picture of it once I noticed when I took this tire off the rear. It was the spare at that point as well. I took the tire off and sent pictures of this bend to the people at Four Wheel Parts, which I had just spent over $3,000 on wheels and tires, and said, hey, you sent me a deformed rim. Is there anything you can do about it? Can I send it back? It would probably cost me more in shipping to send it than for you to just send me another one. What's the protocol? To which they responded, we don't warranty that. Even though it's got a 1-year manufacturer warranty, we won't take care of that. Because it was over 90 days since delivery. And even still, it would have cost me shipping both directions, which would have cost more than the rim. But not only was it deformed, but when I went to the tire shop today, they were actually concerned, which I'm going to bring it into a wheel shop to have them fix it. But this is actually a crack in the rim, which is now slowly formed onto it. So, buyer beware. I would watch out for the places you buy things, especially Four Wheel Parts. I'm not really impressed with their customer service or the way they do business in that regard. So I won't be buying from them again. But in the future, I would definitely check your orders once you receive them a lot more thoroughly. I would have never seen that. It was in a stack of 5 tires and I didn't check them thoroughly enough, I guess. Bad on me and bad on them. But that's the latest update.